Hello, good morning. Let me check the levels. Yes, that looks fine. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Tonight may be one of the more interesting streams I've done and could potentially be the last stream I've done because I am somewhat boiling right now. And that's partly my own fault because I've wound myself up into this state. However, we've got a lot to talk about, and I'm going to try and keep some of this straightforward. Now, before we go into it, I just want to say I put in the title of today's stream that we talk about the new HDZero goggles. We will touch on it, and I'm going to do that at the start in the sense of they are releasing images tonight of the goggles, but they're not here yet, and I don't have them. I'm not going to be sharing them with you, so if you are just here to get that, I don't want you hanging around for that up front. They will be doing that in a few hours. I think it's 2 a.m. UK time, so I won't be staying up for that one. But I am sure that is going to be super exciting, and I'll hopefully have some content on that tomorrow. I've got nothing in advance, so I can't really officially do anything or tell you guys anything, but that will be the news for this week moving forward. What we're going to cover tonight a little bit, though, and I say a little bit, I don't know how far this is going to go, but we're going to talk about this Fat Shark thing. And we're going to talk, first of all, I want to talk about the goggles. Let's talk about the product first of all, because there is a lot to like here. And be under no illusion, I am really interested in what they've shown. I think there's real potential, and we will do that. However, there is going to be some ripping because, frankly, things are getting more all over the place and shady appearing as it is. And I'm going to have to be careful because I don't want to get myself sued. And nothing I'm going to say here is an attack on people. I'm going to be very careful because I do want to address a video, but I'm going to keep it out of a person because I don't like talking about people specifically. I try to always keep it about companies, and I'm going to do that, and I've put my thoughts on that video on it as well, and I will talk about it. But we're going to walk through some stuff, and I've covered this in the videos already. Most of this we've covered, but we're going to talk about it. Now, as always, guys, I also want to talk about what you want to talk about and talk about what questions you may have, and if you've got them, please do put it in. I'm also going to say up front, do you think, or do you want me to order this product now? And I'll wait until the end. I want you to think about that because I haven't done it yet. And there's a reason why I haven't done it yet. And I will tell you why when we get on to point 5 that I've written on my sheet of paper here. And I'm going to be covering that and explain what my concern is with that as well. And yeah, so to start, we're going to talk about the product because there is a lot to like here. There really is. So let's cover the basics. We have, and I'm going to go to the desktop view, see if this actually works. There we go. We've got a new set of goggles from Fat Shark, which, first of all, look new, which is fantastic. They're not the old molded things. Oh, where am I sitting? Let me just get... Sorry about this. I'm not where I thought I would be. No, not that one. That one there. Sorry. There we go. So, we've got a new Fat Shark goggles. They look like Bruce is already gone there. Behave. I'm not ready for that yet. We've got a new set of goggles. They are OLED displays, 1080p live digital feed system, power button, a latch-in power button. I really like that. I think that is fantastic. Better than the power button on the Orcas and better on the Skyzone 04Xs. I found the 04Xs difficult to turn on and off at times, and I do wish they were a physical power button. I think they've got that bang on. We've got 4 RPSMAs. RPSMAs, bit of a pain, but that's the way it is with digital, it appears today. We've got IPD, focus, OLED. There is so much to like here. This is exciting. This is good. I want to see the product. I want to make it a video. I want to talk about it. I want to demonstrate it. I want to put it through all the same tests that I have done already. You know, 46-degree field of view. There's just a lot to like here. There really, really is. Now, the VTX side of things, we don't know a lot about. There's not really much shown in the Fat Shark side of things, although we've got that from Walksnail. So Walksnail have it, and we have a couple of images as well. So there is so much good here. We have potentially a third person in the industry delivering a product that we hope will do everything we want it to do. Now, everything looked good on the launch, and this all looked fantastic. We have JB's video. We have all of the videos, which look amazing. I think they are overall looking a great product. JB was very clear, as with others, that, okay, there's bits that don't work. We get that. We all noticed straight away the menu system looked familiar, as well as the icons and everything like that. So that rose the questions of, okay, are these DJI based? And everyone had made that assumption that they are DJI based on what we've seen. Rightly or wrongly, we all did that. I'm as guilty as everyone else. But what are we meant to think when it basically looks identical from the wording, the menus? Christ, it's even got channels 1, 2, 3, and 8 in 50 megabits mode. No one else does that. No one else, you know, this feels DJI. So that started to blow up, but this is where things really got sideways. And this is where it went weird, was the Walksnail. Because suddenly a website appeared, and this website has now changed. I'm going to put it up, but this had a picture of the goggles on before, which I've got. Let me just find it on a screenshot, 1 second, because they've actually quietly changed the website to take the picture of the goggles off it, for those of you who don't know. But I did take a screenshot, so let me just find it to make sure we have got the proper original picture of what the website looked like. I should have it. I might have it on video, not screenshot. But they've actually adapted the website so it now looks different. Here we go. They had this image on the website. So they had this showing the goggles, but instead of being a white shell, it's a black shell. I'm trying to find the actual screenshot I took of the website, but I can't see it. I may have hidden it somewhere else. But what I can tell you is this. They adapted the website and took the image of the goggles off and made it just look like the VTXs. So that is what was changed. But we had this website showing the goggles again, and I will add, were also for sale on Flywoo as well under this Walksnail brand. So we had what Fat Shark released and what these released. And this is when people are starting to go, well, hold on, what's going on here? Is this a Fat Shark product? Is this not a Fat Shark product? Anyway, very shortly afterwards, Walksnail started putting out statements saying they'd worked with Fat Shark. On their Facebook page, they have a rather interesting statement, which I'll talk about in a minute, which I'm going to be honest with you, smells a lot like what Carl Zhao wrote when he first came into FPV. I'm not saying they've copied it, but it smells it. The wording is similar in many ways, how they've worked in the video industry for 20 years and stuff like that. I'll be honest, it feels like not a copy and paste because it's been adjusted, but it smells. Many of us who've been around to read what Carl wrote smelt it. It felt weird. So we had this other thing. Now, Walksnail started saying, no, we're nothing to do with anyone. We're a new company. Then everyone's linked Walksnail back to Cadex, and basically Walksnail are Cadex. Okay? They are registered as the same website company. They are registered. The person who registered the website is the same, who I will add is also an employee of DJI, but I will leave that there. So we had all of this stuff. Now, we had Fat Shark saying there's no DJI involved, Walksnail saying there's no DJI involved, but everyone's still sitting here going, well, what's going on? What's going on? And the reality is, I got so many people reach out to me. I'm going to come off that in a minute. Unofficially, really great. Lots of people. I've spoken to so many people. I'm not going to name the companies because it's unfair, but I can promise you this. The 3-letter word company, I spoke to them. And all of the info I had sort of was nothing is concrete. Everything is going left and right. No one seems to know anything. And there are about 50 different ways this is being pushed. And that was where it is. Now, yesterday, the narrative started being pushed very much one way, which was this isn't DJI based. I'll be honest, that's what I've said in my video this afternoon, and some good people, which I'm not going to talk about, have gone that way. But I'll be honest, the evidence lines up both. Both sides say the same. Both sides are saying, yes, it is, no, it isn't, yes, it is, no, it isn't. So, we've had Fat Shark release a product which we thought was theirs, which appears to be the same product as Walksnail has released. So the first question everyone has is, who is making this? Well, it appears that Walksnail, who is Cadex, have designed this with Fat Shark. So this whole white label thing seems a little bit unlikely. The product appears to have definitely been designed with Fat Shark and Walksnail. That's fine. We're happy with that. We can put that to bed. That's done. It still smells rather bad that it's being sold under 2 different brands, and it raises all sorts of question marks of who's doing the firmware, is Fat Shark getting firmware, all sorts of stuff. So there were still question marks, but that all adds up. Now, everyone is denying or confirming this is or not DJI. So Walksnail have said in their post, no DJI chips or no DJI code. That's matter of fact. That is. We know from the videos, the guys have said it's not DJI based. But the only thing I'll say is there is doubt in what is being said by Red Cat, Rotoraya, Fat Shark. They're saying we have not officially worked with DJI. So we either have or we haven't. Not this official. We either have or we haven't. Now, I understand they might not be able to say. And I've got no issues with that. Let me be clear. If they cannot say, that's fine. But what we've now got them is sort of denying it, whereas Walksnail saying no. So there's a bit of an in-between here, which is getting confusing. Now, then throw in a video that has been released by a person who is associated with Rotorite and Fat Shark. And again, I am not making this about the person. I don't want anything I'm about to say to be deemed as I'm going against that person. This comment is against the message that went out from a company, because I think the person is fantastic. However, that video, I felt, and I've put my post on this, was confrontational and almost blaming the community for asking questions. But more than that, saying, you don't need to know. Shut up, you don't need to know. Why are you asking these questions? You're not in the circle. You don't need to know about this. And that's the take I got from that video. I could be wrong, and other people, I would love to tell. If you've seen it, tell me what you think in the chat. But I took it as quite confrontational, that video. As, look, you lot are asking too many questions. But this is where my problem is, right? Okay, we have shady information. This system is one of 3 things. It's really simple. You either have a DJI-based system, but they can't tell us. And I understand that, and I'm happy with that. But then don't deny it's got DJI chipsets in, if that's the case. Number 2, it's a copy. Number 3, it's something new. My problem is here is Fat Shark are asking users to pony up nearly $700 for a system that we have not seen fully working and not knowing what we're buying. Now, we don't have the right to be told, but we then also have the right to say, well, I'm not buying this. And that's fine, but don't come on and complain about us asking questions. The reality here is this, and this is quite blunt. Fat Shark have demonstrated a product in a closed environment with limited people being able to test it with, frankly, what we can see is an unfinished product, which you're asking us to pony up $700 on and take it on your word it's going to be fine. And that's no. And here's some more questions. Okay, so you're asking us to pony up $700 and you'll deliver a great product. Okay, so number one, where's the money going? Number two, why? Why is a company the size of Fat Shark and Red Cat asking for the money up front? 3, if I want my money back in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, am I going to get it? Is that money that is being given to get FPV and all the dealers being handed over to Red Cat, Fat Shark, or is it staying with the dealers? Why are you asking for the full money up front? Number 4, why are Fat Shark asking for money when Walksnail, who opened up pre-orders, were asking for $1? Now, you can't tell me that Red Cat don't have the money to bankroll this now. So, I'm going to ask questions if you're going to ask us for $700 up front. It's that simple. And show us a product that isn't finished, isn't fully working, and you're asking us to buy it on a whim of it will be fine in 6 to 7 weeks, which you're going to ship it in July. So you might not be happy we're asking questions, but that is the reality when you are asking for $700 of money up front. And I know we don't have to give it to you. We don't have to buy this, but you are asking us to buy this. So we're going to ask you what's going on. And that's where I'm at with this. And that's why I'm a little bit frustrated and angry right now, because I'll be honest, that video wound me up. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It really did wind me up, because I just felt it was very much, you know what? You lot need to just accept it what it is. You lot need to just shut up and get on with it. I know you like to cause controversy. I know you like to wind people up, but you're causing problems. So just shut up and either buy it or don't. And that's how it came across to me. And it might not have been the intention. And again, it's not about the person. The person is amazing. The message was wrong. The message was wrong. So, that's where my head is at. That's why I am frankly now being a complete pain in the ass. Because I don't want to see anyone get ripped off. And I am not saying for 1 minute Fat Shark will. But look, this is what's been promised. A digital FPV system in 6 to 7 weeks' time, which rivals DJI. Yet what we've seen is a system which looks good. It's got all of the right ingredients. The goggles look fantastic. We all want it to be great, but it looks unfinished with bits that aren't working, with very limited flight time in a controlled environment, and you're asking us to give you $700 on the whim of it being ready. And I'm sorry, we're going to ask questions. Now, as for DJI, as for is this DJI's chipset, is it not? In the end, that in many ways is not important, guys, okay? In my opinion, it being DJI would be a very, very good thing. It gives pedigree, it gives background, it gives solid stability to the system. And I completely understand they may not be able to tell us, but don't then go and deny it. It either is or it isn't. So you're going to have to go one or two ways. You say nothing, or you say one of three things. You say nothing, you confirm, or you deny. But what at the moment is we've got both. We've got one side saying it's not officially DJI, and we've got the other side saying it's not DJI. So it's one or the other. And we'll find out in 6 weeks. If you're shipping it in 6 weeks, we will find out. I will buy one. I will put it under the bench. I will take the ASIC off the board, and we will find out. Because that's how annoyed I am right now. So much so, I have already stripped an ASIC off the board of the DJI Ear Unit today. It is there on the bench. I will show you guys pictures in a minute, so we have this on record what this is. We will dig into this. And it's not just me. There are many, many people. So that is the situation. We have people who will find out in the firmware. We have people who are digging into stuff at DJI. This stuff is really not difficult for the guys to find out. But now it feels shady. Now it feels odd. And that's why I'm as riled up as this. And that's why I think we need to understand more now. Again, I think the product looks very, very good. And genuinely, I would much rather, in many ways, have Fat Shark selling a DJI-based product than DJI, because at least I know I'm going to be able to buy it in a period of time. So that's where I'm at on that. Now, I'm going to catch up. I want to just catch up on 2 super chats a minute and calm myself down, because I'm going to give myself a stroke in a minute. I want to say a massive thank you. I don't want to miss them. Right. Luis Hurtado. Thank you, Ian, for being part of the repair.wiki. Actually, let me put that up there. For you guys who don't know, I've been uploading loads of stuff on repair.wiki, and there's more and more to go. I'm not going to say loads. I've been uploading stuff on repair.wiki. And we've been doing that. So thank you for the super chat. Massively thank you. Oh, David Owens, Cash Towards Goggles. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. I really do. Thank you for that, guys. Right, I'm going to come down to the chat a minute. Okay, so that's my rant over on that a minute. Okay, and that's why I'm so annoyed. And it's getting really loud, the rain here. I am not being a pain in the ass for no reason. I am not being pedantic for no reason. But the more this looks shady, the more I'm wanting to go, well, hold on a minute, what's going on? Now, I would love to get this cleared up. If anyone wants to talk to me, I will talk to anyone on the record, off the record. I'm more than happy to discuss this. I am not an unreasonable or difficult person. But right now, I am really not liking how this is smelling. I'm really not. And it can be one of 3 things, okay? And we'll talk about them now. So, the 3 scenarios, as I've said, is number 1, unofficially DJI are licensing out the technology because they want to circumvent whatever laws that is affecting them putting stuff into the US. In many ways, that is a good... can you guys hear the rain? It's really loud here. Really loud on the roof of the garage. I do apologize. So, DJI licensing out the ASIC or the design. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think that isn't likely. Okay, the DJI digital FPV system is based off the P1 ASIC. That P1 ASIC is used in all of DJI's OcuSync aircraft. Okay, Mavic 3, A2S, Mavic Mini 2, probably the Mavic Mini 3. We don't know yet because we haven't seen one torn down, but I can almost guarantee the P1S one's in there. It is in the M300. It is in all of DJI's products. This ASIC is core DJI technology. Them just handing this out willy-nilly is unlikely without some very special conditions. It's been widely believed that Caddx wasn't manufacturing the Vista, that DJI wasn't just passing it over. But then again, it's now widely believed DJI owned Caddx, so who knows? Because there's links there as well. So, who knows? But that's scenario number 1, that DJI is licensing out the ASIC. I'm not convinced on that. I could be wrong, but I am just not convinced they're going to do that. This is core DJI technology. There has been people saying, and there was a post by these guys, that they may have been involved in developing DJI's FPV technology in the first place. I find that hard to believe. I'll be honest with you. I find that hard to believe. Because I've got a video on this. I'm going to plug a video. But we've got a video on this, and we can trace OcuSync all the way back. We can trace it all the way back. And I'm not convinced that's the case. So, scenario number 1. DJI have quietly licensed it, and it's, oh, don't talk about this because we don't want the US government to find out. Well, sorry, guys. The game's up on that one. We've already gone past that. What did you expect the FPV community to do? Scenario number 2. It's a brand new system. Okay, that's fine. That is not impossible, okay? DJI have been making their FPV for 3 years. This chipset is basically 3 years old. It is not beyond the realms of possibility that someone has, in that 3 years, developed something similar. I think that's actually a really, really reasonable thing. It's 3 years. It's a long time. And we don't know yet how good this system actually works compared to DJI in the real world. Because remember, what we've seen is in a controlled environment, not really in a scenario where we can judge it for ourselves. No long range, not really behind too many objects. Openly admitting it's not fully working. So that's the situation there. But if that's the case, fair play to them. And again, I'm really excited. Scenario 3 is where things get a bit more underhanded. And that is a company reverse engineers, clones, copies. Now, reverse engineers, clones, copies is a very loose statement because a lot of stuff is reverse engineered, clone, and copy, especially over in the Far East. And they do this, and they do it to a very high level in the sense of they literally copy it. And there are hints of that in the video that have been shown because some of the stuff isn't spelt right. When you actually look at the OSD, it's not that it's spelt right. There's apostrophes and stuff in the wrong place. I haven't queued that up. I haven't actually queued that up, but there is apostrophes and stuff in the wrong places, which sort of makes sense that someone's done it hurriedly. So we know they can backwards engineer. And if that's the case, things get a bit more murky, and that's where my bigger concern is because A, is it ever going to work properly? Especially if Fat Shark are just buying this from Cadex or Walksnail or whoever they want to be, because it's not finished, and when is it going to be finished? We're not going to know. Or there could be, it may not have the same levels of performance. We don't know. So there are a lot of question marks over that. So there are 3 scenarios, and look, they don't have to tell us. I get it. I understand. And I completely understand scenario number 1 may be impossible to say. But at least keep consistent with the message. If this message had just been Fat Shark, oh, we can't say who the partner is, and that was it, we'd have all just accepted it and moved on. If it wasn't Cadex involved, we'd have all just accepted it's probably a copy or a new system. Now, someone was asked, could they have reversed engineered the ASIC? No, unlikely. However, that isn't to say, or unlikely is the right term, it's not easy, but that isn't to say modern chipsets are not capable of doing it. Remember, I've said once already, 3 years old. 3 years old. 3 years old. And that means anything could have happened in that period. OcuSync was based off Lead Core, which is a Chinese-based chip manufacturer, which was basically off the shelf in China. They switched to the P1 ASIC later simply because it gave them more horsepower. But the P1 ASIC isn't particularly anything special. Okay, so let's bring up the P1 just to show you guys, just to give you a bit of a hint. The P1, okay, it is special, but it isn't in the sense of we know a lot about it already. And what we know is it's an ARM-based unit. It's got ARM cores. We know what ARM cores it's got in it. And it's just got some leverage in some specific places to allow it to do what it needs to do. Right, let me just bring up. So the P1 ASIC. So if you take a look at the top, this is the P1. This is the chipset that DJI use in all of their products. It is unlabeled. There is a separate variant of this called the S1. The S1 is generally used in their remote controllers. So the difference between the P1 and the S1 basically doesn't have video processing on board. It's just the baseband. And it's used in like the RCN1 and things like that, where the video is handled via the USB connection, not via the handset itself. So, for instance, the smart controller or the RC Pro would use the P1, but the N1 would be, sorry, the S1 would be used in the N1 remote and any of the remotes with USB output. That's the very basics of it. So, P1, front-end chipset of the DJI. If you look like, very unlabeled, very little sitting on it. You know, none of these numbers go anywhere. We've dived it, we've checked it, we've gone up, we've gone down, we've tried to find info on it. There's just nothing, okay? So that's the top of the P1. If we go to the bottom of the P1, it is a fairly heavily pinned IC, this one. So it does have a lot of I/O. But that is the underneath of the P1 as well. So again, we're going to be able to very easily identify any chipsets that look like this, even if it's masked on the top like TBS do on their chipsets. They literally will mask the top of it. And even if they do that, it's fine. We'll just pull it off the board and have a look. Yes, I pulled it off the board to have a look. Someone just said, did you really remove the chip just to have a look at the pins? Oh, yes. If we look at it inverted, just to make it a bit easier to see, we can see the chipset inverted. There's nothing else hiding there. There's no other markings or nothing like that. And then if we go to the underneath inverted. Now, there is a whole set of circuitry here, which you can see as I go in on the microscope. They may have, well, actually, Bruce, no. We know they haven't, and I can't say why. But what I can tell you guys is this, and I might get myself into trouble with someone, and I'm sorry if I do, my friend. You know who you are. We know that this chipset has not been replaced in whatever's coming next. And that's all I can tell you on that. Okay? Because I say any more, I'm giving away someone else's work, and it's not fair for me to do that. But we know... No, this isn't delidable. I've already tried to do one, Robert. There's no delid. Okay? I can't tell you guys any more than that because it's unfair. It's unfair. I'm spoiling... I'm giving too many spoilers on that. However, so we know what the P1 is. Small chipset. It's not particularly big. She's here. If anyone wants to see it. Here it is. Where's the overhead? There she is. To give you an idea on size on the P1. She's not particularly large. Extremely thin. From a HDZero chipset point of view, actually quite interesting just to show you guys, for those who haven't seen. Let's get in a bit closer. So it is a little bit bigger than the DiviMath chipsets when you look at them. It is a little larger than the DiviMath ones. It does take up more space. And the big difference with DJI is you have to use separate SRAM as well. So on DJI, if we pull the DJI Ear Unit, you've got your, not SRAM, your, I keep saying SRAM, but it is an SRAM. We've got the RAM chip there as well, whereas the ASIC has to come off. So, send it to Bob Rogers. So, we've pulled one to have a look. So, we've got that info. We now know what we're working with. So, the scenarios are this. Yeah, as I've said, guys, 288 people. My God. We don't know. And in many ways, it's not important. And I do understand what's being said there. I do understand in many ways this isn't important. What's caused this absolute crap storm is not the community demanding answers, is the answers that were given. If they'd have just said, we can't say, we'd have been fine. But we've got two scenarios now. It either is or it isn't. And the way the denials are coming out is feeling shady. And then you add in everything else. And then you add in taking pre-orders. And then you add in it's half-baked. That's an unfair term. I'm sorry, that's not right. It's unfinished. It's early. It's alpha. Is the term I would use. I would absolutely call that alpha. Those of you who know, I actually beta tested with DJI for a number of years. I beta tested this. Right? There is alpha and beta. That's alpha. Okay? I can tell you now. That's very alpha. Beta would be basically it's all working and you need to find what isn't working properly. But, so, we've covered A, B. I bet you're Yeah, so that's the situation. So in the end, what we have is a new system from Fat Shark, which has the potential to be fantastic. What's happened is it's been overshadowed by the shadiness of the comments and discussion around what it really is. If it isn't DJI, then why the hell did they make it look so much like it from a menu point of view? Why didn't they just explain that away in the video? Why didn't they just say, look, we know this looks a lot like DJI. We've done this on purpose to try and make it familiar. If they'd have done that, we'd have all been fine. But I don't know. Something smells off. Now, someone said just now, follow the money. There has been whispers for years that Cadex is owned by DJI. I don't know if that's for sure. I can't comment on it. It's not... I don't know. What I can tell you is this. This system... Sorry. Cadex and Walksnail were created and registered trademarks by a person who is an engineer at DJI. That image is roaming around the internet. That's not mine. That is the situation. So, you know, I don't know. Now, it does bring in the next question of DJI, and we'll come on to official DJI in a minute because there's been up and downs on that. We've had 2 leaks. We've got one now which looks legit, which looks boring, and we had one which looked bloody fantastic, but it was made up, unfortunately. So if you've seen some goggles and a drone which looks amazing with cameras on the front, I'm afraid they were fake. But we now have some stuff, whilst I would take it with a pinch of salt, they do look legit-ish, and they sort of align with what we already knew in the background and what is probably coming in the future from DJI. Now, someone just said, price. No one's talking about the price. The price. So, what do we think about the price? So, let's go back to being objective, impartial, and not raving a minute. So, the price. The Dominators. Fat Sharks. $599. OLED. 1080p. DVR. No analog input at all. Okay, bit disappointed in that. Power button, I think that's great. I do think it's great. And if it's based on DJI, I think that's a win. If it's something new, I'm going to be cautious. I am going to say be cautious. If it's something... And I would say that because, look, if Orca drop an FPV system now and say, oh, you can pre-order it, it's going to be delivered in 6 weeks, I'm going to be telling you exactly the same. Don't buy it yet and wait. That's nothing specific to Fat Shark. I think there is a hell of a lot to like here. There is HDMI output over USB-C. And look, although I'll complain, I'm going to tell you something. They've put the bloody SD card in the middle again. Why do they keep putting the SD card in the middle? You can tell Fat Shark had a hand in developing it. You can't tell me they didn't. If you didn't have a power button, I'd tell you they definitely helped design it. But the fact the SD card is in the middle tells me Fat Shark had a hand in designing it. That's for sure. HDMI out. No HDMI in. I think the price is okay. I don't think the price is... Jumper designed the SD card location. Oh, God, it's made by Jumper. You know, so the very detailed specs. 46 degree field of view. Adjustable +2 to -6 on diopters. Full HD 1080p dual micro display. Sounds really good, doesn't it? Built-in HD DVR, which is fantastic. Adjustable anti-fog ventilation. Yeah, all of the usual stuff. You know, we know about all of that. We know about that. Drew's girlfriend in the commercial. Was that Drew's girlfriend? Was it? Okay, I didn't know. I assumed it was actors. That was my assumption. That's quite cool. That's a nice little thing for them. So overall, I think it's a bloody mess. I think it's a bloody mess of their own creating, frankly. And I'm going to have to take some responsibility in this bloody mess, because I've been half of the person not blowing this up, but I am the person highlighting this stuff. And I'm going to say sorry, but that is what it is. I am a person who is a technical person. This channel has always concentrated on digital FPV specifically. So this product is right up my street. But when it starts getting shady, I'm also the kind of asshole who's going to dig into it as well. Also, we need to keep it. I understand NDAs, but then, okay, at Flex FPV, 100%. I 100% get NDAs. I've signed loads of them myself. And that is the bit where it said, say nothing. That's where it says, say nothing. If it's under it. But the problem now we've got is Fat Shark Red Cat saying one thing, and then Walksnail saying nothing, something else. And that's where it's got all thing. Walksnail is Cadex. They have said they're a separate company, though. They have said they are separate. They've split off. But the links just go round in circles and circles and circles. Now, the naming. I'm going to talk a bit about the naming, because this is going to lead us on to DJI. And I'm going to get my Discord ready for this, for the images, because I want the images. And if you guys don't know, I have a Discord server. The link in the chat probably doesn't work. Okay, so the naming, this is called Avatar. What I wouldn't be shocked at, and here's something interesting, is if they, whoever designed it, being Cadex Walksnail, knew the name of DJI's new product coming, and they sort of just changed the name a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised. DJI's new product is apparently called, I need to get this right, Avata, I believe is how it's pronounced. So we're going to talk about DJI, but yes, it's called Avatar according to the system, according to Walksnail, and according to the menus. Now, guys, we have 337 people here. My God, who's directed you lot here? Hello. How are you doing? I hope you're well. I'm not usually quite as wound up as I am today. Please do consider giving us a like. Any questions you amazing folks have, please do put it in the chat. And I would appreciate it. So, okay, I'm going to... Is there anything I've missed? Fat Shark, Walksnail, DJI OcuSync. I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know where this ends up. I honestly don't. I honestly don't know where this ends up. Yeah, I need to cover that as well. Telegram, I forgot. I should have started the top of the hour with this. Okay, I'm going to do it now while there's 330 of you here. This is a bit of a public service announcement. Okay, and I'm going to be cutting this for the light thing. Guys, unfortunately, my channel has become the victim of the YouTube bots, spam bots, or whatever we call them, and it is sending messages out to people to say you've won and contact them via Telegram. I will never do that. The only way I will ever contact you is via email from mad_rc@icloud.com, or I might contact you from my Facebook or one of them, but you will know it's me. Never give money, never do anything. I have a Patreon, which there is links to in the description, as well as Buy Me a Coffee, but they are the only two places to get. Unfortunately, today, a bunch of people who subscribe to the channel got messages from an account that is fake, that is not me, and they are saying, hey, you've won something. You need to contact us to get it. It's not me. Please don't fall for it. Please don't fall for it. So I'm just getting that out of the way. Okay, so DJI. In this madness of the last 24 or so hours, there's been a few leaked images of the apparent new DJI Avatar system. We're going to go to the desktop. So these leaked images were as follows. We had this. Let me just bring this up full to show you guys. Oh no, why is that gone over there? That should be here. Which is a very low res. Look how small that is image. But let me get you some bigger ones. That's not what we want. We had this one here with a headset. And this one here showing cameras on the front. Now, there were some more images like this one put up. So let me open that. You guys can see that there. Let me bring him onto this window, which again shows the same goggles with eye holes and a drone. I know it's not very big. They're really low-res images. And anyway, it turns out they were all fake, and they're from this website here, which I'm going to bring up. Why is all of my windows opening on my other monitor? This guy here, who is a design person, and he's just designed these images inspired by DJI. And I'll be honest, these look bloody fantastic. Some of this stuff looks absolutely stonking. It really, really does. Look at the drone, the images of the drone. This stuff just looks amazing. If we scroll down, showing the drone there. The goggles, look at these goggles with cameras on them. He's called it O2 FPV Mr. goggles. This stuff looks amazing. It really, really does. However, this isn't it. This is just someone. So if you've seen images that look like this, they're not legit. They're not real. However, there has been some legitimate images shared. Now, let me just find them. I posted them somewhere. DJI products. Here we go. And it's these ones here. Now, this is really dark. It's not going to be easy for you guys to see. They're on Twitter. Let me open it up. Original. It's a really dark image of a drone with ducted sides, which is believed this is the Avata. It's that image there. We've got this one here, which seems to show a little camera module on the front, heat sink at the back with ducted fans. And it is believed that these may actually tilt, and I'll explain why that's the case in a minute. And whilst this all looks early renders, Cinewhoop, it does sort of align with some stuff we know already, and I can't go into great detail, but we sort of already know the next Ear Unit will have a built-in camera processing, and I'm not talking about normal. It's going to be a camera and Ear Unit kit, more like what we've had on the consumer drones. So it would have a lot more processing than just what you would have on the current Ear Unit. It's got a dedicated video processor, for instance. And it also aligns with this, which is a patent that DJI put out last year, I think it was, which shows about this. So this is a bit more disappointing than what the other images showed. We were all up for those other images. Are they on this page? No, they're not. We were all up for those. You know, I would much rather had this. This looks fantastic. This looks amazing. I'd have much rather this. Goggles with cameras in the front? Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, Anthix FPV. That makes more sense. Something along those lines. Imagine it more like a DJI camera drone level of behavior, but in an Ear Unit. Because the current system is a bit different. So, the DJI current Ear Unit has no camera processing. It basically has very, very basic. Very, very basic. It literally can just record a stream to the SD card and a live feeding out. And that's all it can do. There's no, like you can do on the DJI consumer drones. Everything is very, very basic. And that's why, actually, when you think about it on the DJI FPV system, only certain cameras have the controls, because all of that's in the camera, not the Ear Unit. And that's why, because there's no processing in the Ear Unit. Duck my squeeze. I'm going to catch up on the chat. We've played the Fat Shark release game before. Yeah, logo on the front. I know, it's a fake one. Looks cool though, doesn't it? That looks cool. Wouldn't you love that? Cameras on the front, fold out antennas, look. Little fold out antennas. Very cool. So the DJI stuff, we don't really know. Any updates on goggles routing? No, everything's running very slow on that. And that's actually something really interesting. Someone sent me a message, and that was a really good point, actually. And I'm going to have a sip of tea before I move forward. And that point was this. If this is DJI based on the same chipset, they're going to have a hard time getting the OSD and everything to behave. Because the guys who are doing the routing are having that same hard time now. There's a reason you haven't just got the OSD working with canvas mode or MSP DisplayPort. There's a reason you haven't got that. Because it's not easy and it causes problems. And it does appear that if it is the same DJI chipset, they could be suffering from the same thing. Also, did you notice on the SharkBite, some of the latency numbers were very all over the place. Very all over the place. It's not as simple as you'd think. It really isn't. Now, we know from a DJI point of view, okay, it is known that DJI are releasing something new. We know this is happening. They may choose not to, but it exists. We know an awful lot about it. Not all of it has been shared, and I'm not going to share that out because it's not for me to do. But the thing to understand is these guys who are doing the stuff in the background are digging in, and I do talk to a lot of people. I try to have an input. I try to help people where I can, and it does tend to mean I tend to know things that I can't always talk about. But there is definitely something coming from DJI. And a cine whoop does make sense, actually. A cine whoop does make sense. Has DJI released a statement about... No. I doubt they will. DJI don't like talking. Makes sense. Yeah, they would. Agreed on that. I think they would have to be 1080p. 100%. I have seen some interesting ones. People saying, oh, this is DJI's old tech, or they're going to use the new tech. I find that hard to believe. I do find that hard to believe. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot here I could be very, very wrong on this Fat Shark stuff. And I may end up having to make some real backtracking videos. Although I've always said we don't know for sure, so I probably won't. You know, I'm leaning on this being clone or something new. But that's simply because of what I've been told, a matter of fact, by someone who should know. And I'm not going to say who that person is, but based on everything I know, this person should know. So I'm, you know, if they're wrong, changes that a lot. I tell you something, though. What a crap show this turned into be after the launch. I'll say that I do feel, actually, for Fat Shark in this, okay, there is one scenario. Whilst they must have known about the brand Walksnail, because the VTX and camera has Walksnail written on it, so you can't tell me they didn't know this existed, right? Because if we put that up, right, they must have known the brand name existed. They must have known about that. But I do wonder if they knew about that website going up. I'm guessing they were not happy about that. If I was them, I wouldn't have been. I would have been, what are you doing? And that could explain why the goggles appeared off that website. And see, it's all that little shady stuff, isn't it? You know, the website had the goggles on first of all, and now it doesn't. They've readjusted the image. They've done this, they've done that. Does use the same connector as DJI. If we dive in, I talked about this in my video. For those who haven't seen, I have talked about it. So, there is some really interesting stuff on this, and I'll do it again now. Single board VTX doesn't look DJI manufactured, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean it isn't, but DJI tend to use a very distinctive black solder mask on basically everything they make. Absolutely everything they make. They really must. They do. But this could be pre-release, which is on a different board. But I've beta tested pre-release DJI product. In fact, my DJI goggles are pre-release, and they use a black solder mask, as is my DJI camera, as is all of the other stuff. Black solder mask. So I'm not convinced this is manufactured by DJI. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just not convinced. But same connector, MIPI. Very much the same connector. The heatsink used to be silver, but they've painted it black. Bit strange. What's really interesting, though, is this bump. And I think this is a stacked chip. Now, let me just bring up something for you guys to see. I'll go to repair.wiki, and I have covered this in the other video. I need a fresh window, that one here. We'll go to repair.wiki. If you guys don't know, I've been putting some stuff up on repair.wiki for repair.wiki for HDZero, as well as DJI. So we've got all of the images. So for instance, on here, for you guys who don't know who are new here, I've put up images of the Ear Units that have been stripped down. We've put images up of the Vista, some repair stuff as well on these. So how to repair the diodes on each of the Ear Units, so on the Cadex Vista and the DJI. So you got the DJI up there, the Cadex Vista, and how to repair the diodes. You can't stack, I know, Bruce. So I'm just wondering what they're doing. But I've also done the same for HDZero. So if you scroll down to the bottom, HDZero, we got the VRX, as well as the board images, as well as how to repair the board when the fuse goes, and on the VTXs as well. Just quickly to show you guys this. Images of the HDZero VTXs all up there for everyone to get access to if you need to. One of the users, I don't know if he's in the live actually, he started uploading some stuff as well. He did that today. That wasn't me. He's done a great job on that, showing you how to repair that. And then we got all of the boards. However, so let's get back to DJI a minute, which is what we're here for. I just thought I'd show you that. And what we have is the DJI chipset. So this is a traditional Ear Unit. We can look at a Vista if you want, but the Vista images aren't very good on here. They're not mine. I may take some new ones and put them up myself. That's the Vista. It's a dark one. You can't see it very well, but you got the P1 and the RAM chip there. And green boards in the product get further developed. They move to black. They might be. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's go to... But if we look at this one, it's a bit easier to nice and see. So, whatever happens on the DJI, if it's the same chipset, you got the P1 and you got the RAM. You got the DRAM. It's technically DRAM. I said it was SRAM in the video. It's actually DRAM. So that width is there. Now, when you look at this picture is quite interesting because there's clearly a bump here, which is really strange because it's not the heatsink. Because if you look, the fins are no deeper. So the bump is clearly there for something. Bruce, what's your thoughts? You could stack a second PCB on top of it. I suppose you could put the DRAM on the baseboard and then have a board on the top with pins all the way around the outside, but that would have to be a lot of pins because the P1 has a lot of pins, and then have it on top of that. But it is rather interesting that there's clearly something there. That can't just be the chipset, I wouldn't have thought. Vapor chamber, interesting comment. Very, very interesting comment. Vapor chamber? Never thought of that one. That's a good one. Now, I think that's the size of whatever chipset's under there. It's right there. Bit odd, that. Bit odd. But SD card slot. No, well, they've said this has RAM on board. It's got no SD. It's got storage memory on board, apparently. Socket, perhaps. I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? It doesn't look, on the other pictures of the VTX on the other side, there doesn't appear to be anything there. Let's just, if we go on their website, Walksnail, and they've got some images down here. Now, you can't quite see that side. Open in a new tab. We don't see a lot, but you can see here there's a little square. So I do... Is it that side? Wait there. Let's just have a look at this. Okay, so the MIPI connector's up here. Where's the MIPI? The MIPI's there. So we would need to rotate this. So that then would be down here on that image at the bottom, which is here. Actually, yes, very much here. Perhaps that is a little vapor chamber, look. Very strange. Silicon imposed layer, yeah. But that would mean new silicon, you know. Onboard storage is meant to be micro. I'm reading it as memory, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, because you could argue on this image that wouldn't be, that could be the SD card slot there, because that sort of looks like an SD card slot for a micro as well. Has someone decased an Ear Unit? Yes. What do you mean decased an Ear Unit? DJI one or their one? Their one, no. DJI one, we have every image you want. Maybe the heatsink protrusion is just for RF cage. Could be. It's a bit weird. I just thought it stands out, but there's no more depth to the heatsink on it. There really isn't. DJI, what ran it decased, do you mean, Athix? You can vape with it. So, if we look, okay, what do we know on the VTX? We've got MIPI. That bump is the back. Though I thought they said onboard RAM and storage. I read it as that. Lipo underneath. Yeah, I think that camera's definitely had a harder time, isn't it? At the rear. So if we rotate the MIPI this way, so with it, because that's the MIPI there on this. So on this, it's rotate that way to there. So that would be here. That would be that area there. With that connector, there's a connector obviously on the other side of the board on that, which we can't quite see. And there's another connector here, look, interestingly, as well. Yeah, interestingly, look, you know, you can't tell a lot. Obviously, the board is labeled Avatar TX as well. Interestingly. Very similar bind button to DJI. Is it the same one? Tell you what, bloody looks like it. It does look like it. I mean, identical button. It literally looks like it's exactly the same. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it's different. Sorry, I was looking at the LED, not the button. No, the button is different. So I don't know. We will know if it's DJI when we see one, because DJI's manufacturing is very, very specific. DJI's manufacturing is very much done a certain way. I can see a DJI board instantly, because they just all look the same. When you look at let's get on repair.wiki. Even when you look on here, I need to put more up on repair.wiki. Their boards are they all have very, very similar traits. MIPI, it gives, but if Cadex have made a system and they might want simple compatibility, they could have just used the same MIPI cable. I wouldn't read into the MIPI being anything, because Cadex are already using that. They make the cables already themselves. It makes sense that they could just continue that on. No, it's on the other side. If you were, oh yeah, it's on the other side of the board, but I mean it's that way. Yeah. Now DJI boards do have a very specific look to them. You know, they always are very similar. And what you always see on them, and I've looked at multiple DJI boards, okay, you always have the test points like this. It's even the same on the Mavic GPS module I've got here. You always have the specific test points which are surrounded. These ones here, these ones here. They don't label them up. You always have a lot of test points, but they always look very much the same. And DJI's manufacturing tends to always have numbering like this on it as well down the bottom here. Although what is interesting is note that, look at that there, that text there. Similar, isn't it? That's very similar. So there are traits. You know, that doesn't look very DJI, I'll be honest. That wording doesn't. But DJI's always, to be fair to them, their manufacturing is very, very good. The quality of their manufacturing is very high. Again, I tell you something you do get all over DJI product, and this is always something I noticed when I did the Mavic 3 teardown. You get purple dots everywhere, and I'll show you what I mean by that. You can see that right in there is in purple, right? If we get an ear unit, right, this one here. So if we zoom in, you got the purple marks that go around the chip, but they put purple dots all over the place. Purple dot, purple dot. Oh, sorry, let's go down. Right, purple dot. Purple dot, purple dot, purple dot. They do this on every one of their boards. It's clearly something to do with QC checking. It clearly is. but you'll find them located always near where there's an IC and all over the board. DJI's packaging always... Yeah, it's very, very good. DJI's packaging is genuinely very, very good. And often the letterings are there. So it won't be hard to tell if they're testing them. If they're not moisture test pads. No, it's paint on the board. You can scrape it off. They mark around almost every IC. Basically, they just do it around every little IC. I'm guessing it's some form of MIPI, multiple input. I'm trying to remember what. I thought it was multiple input programmable interface. It might be multiple input programmable. MIPI meaning, I think it's something. Sorry, mobile industry processor interface. Mobile industry processor interface. It's been mostly used on phones and stuff. That's where it came from. Could the Power Plate have slightly different board than normal DJI board? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That board should not be taken as fact. Nothing on that should be taken as fact. Nothing should be taken as fact on that. That could just be this. But I just thought it interesting. That's all. Where's the other 127 people in the hobby? Thank you, Bruce. Right. 355 people. This is by far the largest stream. So first of all, I'm going to say hello to every single one of you. I hope you haven't been here for the full purpose of this rant all the way through. So, I don't know, guys. What I am going to say is this. Okay, I'm done on this now for a while until I know more. I ain't going to keep dragging this up every week. I'm not talking about it time and time again. So the question I've got for you guys, should I pre-order one of these today? $700 down on this kit. I'm going to make you guys make the decision. How do I create a poll? How do I create a poll? Does anyone know? Can you do it in the YouTube chat? Okay, what I'm going to do is this. Say yes or no. I want yeses or nos. Yes, we need answers. Pre-order, do it. Yes. No, Expander. No, Geordie. No, yes. Sai, thank you for that. Yes. Oh my God, I think that's an overriding yes. Okay, we're going to have to do it. That's a yeah. I think there's more yeses and nos. Flywheel pre-order. Okay. I'm going to have to be very careful what I say here on this, because this was told off the record. I would not expect the non-Fat Shark orders to ship anytime soon. I have to be very careful, but that's all I'm going to say. I would not expect, from the information I've been told, the non-branded Fat Shark. Remember, there has been no official dates given for that system. I'd probably do it via PayPal. Remember, it is Fat Shark who have given the date of release. Is iFlight RC owned by the same company as DJI's iFlight technology? Yet no. My understanding is no. They are separate companies. DJI has a lot of company names they use for different parts of their business. And they have one called iFlight Technology. I do not believe it's the same. I am 99% it is not. I know it sounds like it, but it was around long before FPV. PayPal. Yeah, I agree. Who takes PayPal? Get FPV? See, this is the bit that's griping me. So, let's go. I have ordered from Get FPV in the past, and they've been fantastic. I ordered my Scout HDs from Get FPV, and they were amazing. Yeah. So if we search for Dominator, Here we go. We can see. Now, there are various packages of this system available right now. So, you have just the goggles, $599. I want to show you guys something funny as well, where they fly woo. Did anyone else notice this? I did laugh at this. I can't type when my keyboard is over there. Dominator. Is it gone off Flywoo's website? Oh no, here it is, right? Okay. So, Flywoo's website, $1 pre-order. It's not $1 to buy. It's $1 pre-order, okay? But look, they're showing JB's video in the advertising, including 20% UK VAT. No, it's going to be on top. That's going to be on top of that for me. I've forgotten to rant about something. There was something I was going to rant about, and I've just remembered. And I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to get myself back in. $599 pre-order for a product that you've seen only tested in a controlled environment with people who they've asked to go there with limited options to test it in real world. By the way, that is still not FCC certified. I forgot to add that. It is not FCC certified yet. So they want you to put down $500 for a product that we've not fully seen working that isn't even FCC certified. They've put in for it, but it's not FCC certified. "90 frames a second is not as good as DJI." You know what? I actually have to address something on that. Yeah, that's weird. On the video earlier, there was a comment made that it has faster than DJI. So, my understanding of the DJI system is version 1 goggles are 120 frames a second displays. According to DJI specifications, they are 120 hertz displays. Frames per second hertz. Same fresher. So DJI FPV. Okay. So the DJI FPV combo, the displays. Oh no, it's not that bloody thing. We don't want that. DJI FPV system, here we go. So, this system, the original V1 goggles have 120 frames a second displays. 120 hertz. There we go, lit up, 120 hertz. Now, the V2 goggles are 144 hertz, but only with the FPV drone. I believe they go back down to 120 hertz when in an FPV system. Okay? But it's still 120 hertz. Now, the Fat Shark goggles being OLED are going to be, they've said 90 hertz, but it was said in the video they're going to be 100, not 90, but it's still faster than DJI. But it isn't, because DJI is 120 hertz. So there's been a bit of play there. DJI is 120 hertz. Apparently the Fat Shark is going to be 90 or 100 hertz OLED displays. They said 90 in the spec. It was said in the video 100 hertz. So, does it matter if it's FCC certified? Everyone registers a drone. It's just, to be able to sell it legally, it has to be. So it's just a funny thing, you know, if you're going to sell a product, it's got. I know they've applied for it, but at this stage, full price pre-orders on a product that isn't FCC certified as well. Bit dodgy. Someone accused me, and he's won. Are you here? You've won the internet today. Someone accused me in a chat. I'm going to say this while I got you all here. It was quite funny. There was a post about what everyone's going to say about these goggles when they come out. So they had all Joshua Bardwell, this, that. I think it was on the Fat Shark site. I can't remember. Or FPV Life on Facebook. And someone had posted, Mads Tech's going to sit there on a 20-minute video basically saying it sounds dodgy to me in 20 different ways. Which I laughed at because he's right. Because that's all I've done tonight. So, okay. Goggles themselves. $599. Without antennas as well, folks. No antennas included in that. But they also have different versions as well. We have this Dominator HD Goggles Ultimate Bundle Kit, which when you initially look at the picture, you think, oh, it comes with all of that. However, it doesn't. You've got to pick and choose. So the 758 is for the goggles and one VTX. At least they're calling it a VTX and not Ear Unit. I suppose that tells us a bit. But it's 758. What's that in British money? My God, what am I about to do? Dollar to pound. What's it today? I want up to date. Right, what are we talking here? How much? 758. 758. Oh, 1,758. 618 quid. Plus 20%. Again, for tax. $900, £900 purchase. It's going to be £1,000. It's going to be £1,000. Right, I'm going to need a few more super chats if you guys want me to order that. Sorry, I don't normally do that. Oh my God. Yeah. That's a lot of money. Now, I just want to say a massive thank you to Sean. Sean dropped in a super chat while I was ranting and I didn't say it. Sean at Geeks Varna. I want to say thank you, mate. And there was a few more. I need to go back up on the super chats. Idella Christian. I'm sorry, my friend, $10. Massive thank you. Overbase, or €10, sorry. Overbase or base, $10. Massive thank you, my friend, as well. Kmart FPV, $4.99. A massive thank you. Do I think HDZero partnering with SkyZone? I can't comment on that. So let me just check. Yes, that was the one. So question, Kmart FPV. Do you think HDZero is partnered with SkyZone? I'm afraid I can't answer that question because I do know something about that, but please don't read that as a yes or no because that would be wrong of me to do that right now. Right, Mr. David Owens. Oh my God, £50 super chat. Dave, you shouldn't have done that, mate. You shouldn't have done that. The Avatar version is cheaper, but I'm not expecting people to see that this year. I can't 100% comment on that. Oh my God. YouTube takes a huge chunk of it. There is obviously PayPal as well as thing. Oh my, Dave, I need to have a chat with you off. I can't accept that, mate. Could the US require more compliance before allowing FCC? Anything can happen before FCC. Any product could fail FCC testing. It's a test for RF compliance. You could get a heatsink in the wrong place and have problems. You could have a shield not fitted properly, or it doesn't behave just like you expect. The problem with it not being, anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong. It really can. And that's the problem. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, have we done this Fat Shark thing to death? Because I've gone for an hour and a half on it. Now, I'm probably not going to be very, very popular in certain quarters after this hour and a half. John Cuppy, wow, my friend, you shouldn't have. I really appreciate it, mate. If you don't know who John is, he goes on Geeks Varna's channel as he's the main FPV guy over there. He's a really good guy. He also helps run his Discords. I've seen John all day. I haven't had a chance to mention John because John's been like everywhere I've been going around in circles. Literally anything can affect FCC compliance. Do I have any comments to make on it? Look. Okay, time to get schooled by Drew. Haven't watched it yet. Look, I want to be clear on a few things. Any comments I have made on a post, on a video, because I did put some comments on there, and I've discussed it here, are never about the person. Nothing I ever do is about the person. Nothing I ever say is ever about a person. There are Rotoraya, Fat Shark, are massively successful businesses that have helped shape FPV, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be critical when I feel they're doing something wrong. Any comments I've made are not directed at the person, and when I direct them at the message that's being given by the company. And whilst that person is giving that message, It's never personal. It's never about that person. I always wish them all of the best. I think they're fantastic people. They do a great job. I do think at times some things are ill-advised in what is said, probably the last hour and a half. But it is always about the company and never the person. And I will say this, whenever you are dealing with things like this, you should never make it about the person. Even if it's a one-person company, complain about the company. It should never be about the person publicly. It's not fair. It's not right. You should never go after a person for what they've done. You should just try to keep it about the brand or about the company itself. And that's what I hope I've done in this. I don't agree with the way the comments were put across, and I know it is a person that made those comments, but I still really appreciate what the person does, says, and whether it's a bit of frustration, I don't know. Who knows? It's an opinion. And I'm always open to discuss it. I would always be open on it, and I insult Boost personally all of the time. In fact, I can pick your accent, but I don't think you're a northerner. No, I'm from South Wales. Expander, thank you for that. That's really appreciative. That's amazing, my friend. Ian's a bigger influencer than Drew. That's not the case. Don't. I'm just an idiot. He might have taken it down. It's possible. It is possible he's taken it down. It didn't go across particularly well for a number of people. And it's not just me. You know, I watched it on my own, and then I thought, I watched it, and then I reached out to some people who I trust and just said, what was your take on that? Did you see it? And something I always do is this. Before I comment or do something, I'll always try to run it past some people just to go, what's your thoughts on this? Am I alone in how this is coming across? Am I wrong? Am I being an asshole? Am I being difficult? Am I interpreting it wrong? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I always try that. And again, I know I'm not going to be popular, but what can I do? What can I do? If he's taken it down, then it doesn't exist. And it never happened. It's that simple. I didn't show it. I have no intention of showing it. So. Ian wears lipstick, not eyeliner. It's very warm in you. Sent by PayPal. Still greedy YouTube. My phone's been going nuts as well. Perhaps I got messages there saying, shut up and stop talking. Been in and out for the live stream. Rewatch it. It's safe to assume this new system will not be compatible. As far as we know, this system isn't DJI. That's all I can say. Because that's what they're telling us. Old South Wales, they fixed the weather in New South Wales. That's the truth. Okay, so we've done the Fat Shark thing to death. If you're here for the Fat Shark, you've got the best of me. Let me have a look at what else. So, in the next few hours, you are going to be seeing the new images of the HDZero goggles. I am super excited for this. I really, really am super excited for this. Because, look, if you've been here, you've seen I did the HDZero interview with Carl, who was bloody fantastic. It really was. Love to talk to Rotoraya or Fat Shark and do the same for them. Guys, come on. Tell me and I'm an asshole. Talk to me. Let's have a chat about this. Let's get the facts out. What I love is doing stuff like that. What would be really interesting, though, is to see what they do on these goggles. Now, I think it's very, very interesting indeed that there's a lot going on with HDZero. I should have the new VRX module this week. I need to check the tracking. It's been sent. It's on its way. It's just in bloody transport somewhere. I will also have the new Whoop VTX and camera as well, which I'm really looking forward to showing you guys. We're going to take a look at that as well. One of the comments I have noticed is I've seen 2 people mentioning that the power usage on the new VTX is a little bit high, as I understand it. Spotted Love Savannah, did I get your email? When did you send it? I've had so many emails in the last 24 hours, it's crazy. It was alive on Facebook, yeah. It was. Yeah, the Carl interview was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. You know, it's Blunty is savage. Why? What's he done? Has he been savage to me or someone else? Have I missed something? It's still getting comments now on Facebook. You can still read the comment. Oh, right. Okay, it's there, apparently. I don't know. So, again, it's never about the person. So, HDZero, new goggles coming. And I think, and I'm genuine here, guys, I think you're going to be blown away. I can't say anymore. But I've heard, all I can say is I've heard, I think you're going to be blown away. Honestly. Whilst we've seen a blow up on the Fat Shark side, wait. Just wait until what... If I've heard right, if what I've heard is right, it's going to blow your socks off. I think it's going to blow people's socks off. And I think this whole conversation is going to shift away from Fat Shark, and they might be happy about that. They might actually be very, very happy that someone else has come in and gone, look at this, look at this. Do you think, here's a conspiracy for you guys, and I've just thought this in my head. Do you think, right, if, let's just go conspiracy thing here, if Fat Shark and all of that is tied to DJI, do you think they got him to leak the drone pics to try and shift conversation? Can you leak something so it takes everyone talking about something else, please? Get them stopping talking about us. Talk about this. Do you think they did that? And I genuinely, from what I've heard some good things. I think you're going to be surprised. I'm going to be surprised. I really do think you're going to be surprised. I can't say anymore. I can't say anymore. Right. We are going to have 10 minutes of questions if you've got any. For those of you, there are 341 people here. So I'd for the 341, if you haven't given us a like, please do consider pressing it. I really appreciate it, okay? I really do. If you've got any questions, I think I've ranted enough on that stuff. I'm really looking forward to what's coming from HDZero. I think the Fat Shark is really interesting. I'm going to have to order it. Spill the bins. I can't. I'll be dead. They are announcing it. I think it's 9 p.m. And I've got HDZero recently and might well bought a toaster strapped to your face. I feel bad for the guys that bought the analog goggles and HDZero recently. Might as well bought a toaster and strapped it to your face. Yeah, it's got a bit more heat power, but I don't think... What do I know about Orca Digital? What I know about Orca Digital is 3 boxes in a display cabinet. Here's another hot take I'll get myself into trouble for. You've got to feel for Orca. If Fat Shark have either cloned or manufactured a new system from scratch, they've gazumped Orca. That in itself is quite the task. See, I wasn't impressed with the Orca. Vision ones or pilots, Rob? Have you got the pilots or the V1s? I wasn't impressed with the optics on the pilots. I found them a bit narrower. Does the new system work? We don't know. Officially, it's not a DJI system, so there should be no compatibility. They are showing images of the new goggles in the next few hours. Spin the beans. They all think you're assholes after this video. Sorry, guys. Not for me to do. I can only go by what I've heard whispers and talk about. But the new HDZero goggles, from what I've been told, the HDZero crowd. Mounting DJI antenna on the arms. 6 p.m. Yeah, it's like 2 a.m. here in the UK. So Matt Smith, thank you, my friend. Craig, I just look at projects. Oh, we got over the 220 likes. That's amazing. Is Walksnail and Fat Shark supposed to be cross-compatible? Well, we don't know. No one has said. That is a legitimate question we don't have an answer for. The assumption is it's the same product. But there is always the potential that you could stop it binding, whichever way it binds. If it binds. We assume it's a two-way link. Okay, so here's an interesting point. We don't know for sure that if it's a single or a dual link. We're assuming it's like DJI with a two-way link. And reality is, technically, it has to be. Because if you're doing H.264, H.265 compression, like they say they're doing, you need a feedback path to do that. That's why HDZero doesn't use that kind of compression. And the reason it doesn't work if you don't is put DJI on audience mode. If you've ever tried DJI on audience mode, that's basically H.264 without a feedback loop, and it's horrible. That's the basics. So in theory, it's a two-way communication protocol. It has to be, basically. But there has been no specifics on the Walksnail Fat Shark DVR. Oh, not DVR, VTX compatibility. It wasn't direct. In that video, he did say it wasn't direct. Yeah, there was a few there. It's got to be. You can't do H.264, 265 without the round trip. Did you hear that the Avatar VTS has OpenTXRX fast link? I thought I heard that. No, I didn't hear that. So, I wonder how they do that. Well, if it's DJI, mind. It's the same thing. Doing a single direction. Yeah, that's... Oh, sorry, you are right. Bidirectional, they could look into it. Yeah. Had 6 wires. Yeah, so, look, let's be realistic. If it is the DJI system, it's going to have all the same functionality options. Snail fat. They're also making a new goggle called Snail Fat. That's funny. I do like that. Just call them Fat Snail Goggles. Has it been confirmed the DJI Avatar is a new goggle? No. But yes. Okay. I think this is public, and I'll get told off if it isn't, but I am 99% sure it is. In the assistant code, because I'm sure he posted it on Twitter. I better bloody check. My problem is I talk to... Let me just find this to see what he has posted. Otherwise I get myself into trouble. Here we go. Right. Okay, so FPV, the hacking guys have posted this. Yes, so we know the new goggles, version 3, but they're going to be called DJI Goggles 2. Okay? So, they're not going to be called DJI FPV Goggles version 3. They're going to be called DJI FPV 2, according to the assistant. They support 3 modes. They support DJI Avatar, DJI OcuSync 3 Ear Unit mode, DJI Goggles 2 mode. And they have 3 different modes. Now, DJI Goggles 2, we believe, is the current FPV system. Okay, that's the current one today. We think. No, sorry, that might be drones. I'm a bit confused. Could be OcuSync Ear Unit is the current system. But there is also a new Ear Unit coming as well, which we know about. But DJI Avatar is something different again. But this was recently changed. Not the racing edition. But it does appear to be that they are DJI F Goggles 2, not version 2. Which is a bit strange because it's going to be awfully confusing. Yeah, fit all humans' faces. I'm going to sell my FPV to take up model training. Interestingly, I need to check. I don't think he said this. No, he hasn't, so I can't say that. Sorry. Move on. It's the problem when you get told stuff. Some of it you're allowed to say and some of it you're not. Sorry, guys. And I do apologize. I know it comes across as I'm being an asshole, but look, what I will say is this. There is some genuine reasons why people don't spill the beans on everything. There are times where you've not got to show your hand in this, okay? This info is coming from somewhere, and there are some bits coming from one place and some bits coming from another. And you don't necessarily want a manufacturer to know that you've got that bit of information when it could only have come from one place. And that's what you've got to be careful of. So, sorry about that. Watch DJI Avatar be exactly like that. You know what? That would be spectacular. DJI released a product called Avata, which basically is exactly the same. You only get to do it once, then you never get to know the beans again. Yes. Faceplate comes off on the new Dominator HD. Yeah, which is cool. Facebook Live did have some sass in it. You've seen it. Yeah, I just felt it was... My post is on there replying, and he may have replied to me. I don't know. And again, it's never about the person. Jeff Locke from the web. Avatar in her incarnation, daily human or... yeah, it's a weird name, isn't it? It's definitely a weird name. Good time to buy DJI version 2. I see no reason not to buy DJI version 2 right now. That says something, doesn't it? Snail is a great marketing name for FPV goggle. It is. There's a lot of rumors. This is the problem. There's a lot of rumors. There's rumors on everything, and half of this is nonsense. Half of it is bullshit. Half of it is true. It's wading through, and I've had everything. You know, if you guys watched my video earlier, I had so many people come to me and go, "Oh, I know someone here. It's this. Oh, I know someone there. It's that." And I was trying to take it all on board from everyone, but the problem is you get literally every side of the story. You know. Yeah, I see no reason not to buy the DJI version 2 right now. Can't make any promises, but I see no reason. I see no reason at all. I don't actually own my version 2s anymore, which is a bit of a problem for me. Because I sold them with the FPV drone. Knew I should have kept the bloody goggles and sold the drone only. DJI Snail power kit from years ago. Yeah, you remember that one? Yeah, that was an old one. Snail and the ESCs. Never really caught on, did it? Do we think DJI own Cadex? There's a lot of ties. There's an awful lot of ties. And if you've seen the images online, there's an awful lot of ties. If they do, it's a bloody messy situation. I'll be honest. If DJI do own Cadex, I tell you what a mess this all is. There's a comment of the day. Oh, the first set of joggles, the white ones and the Oxygen RE. Yeah, the communist. I can't say that, Bruce. I'll be banned in China. I think Cinewhoop. I think the Avata is a Cinewhoop. The one thing I'll say with those images that were leaked, they're on the usual sources, okay? And these guys haven't really been wrong for a while. Every time they've leaked, that product has happened. That product has come through. So that Cinewhoop image looks fairly legit. That does look fairly legit. You all right, Bruce? Nah, Red Cat is a publicly traded company. I'm not convinced. I don't know. There's certainly close ties. Very close ties. Yeah. Did you like the start of the video I put out earlier, guys? For those who haven't seen it, I don't know how many of you have seen it, but I did put in a bit of I won't tell you how many times it took me to record the start of that video, and I did have an alternative start as well, which I did. But did you like the start in the video? I had to throw in a bit. I was trying to find Jerry Springer, if I'm honest, but I couldn't find it. I didn't know who the other one was, but I thought I'd throw in a bit of drama into the start of it just to lighten it up a little bit. But if you notice, who did I say the baby's father was? Even though I said I didn't think it was, I still labeled it that way, didn't I? They say that as well as Avatar FPV drone that doesn't have manual mode. Yeah, that's pretty much what we know. Just guns at the start of the vid. Like yours, Bruce. I have watched yours. I did comment on it. I did laugh. He was measuring the size of his lumps. DJ Avata is the name of the DJI new Cinewhoop drone they're launching. Yeah, that's what we believe it to be, is a Cinewhoop. I have no idea. The Version 1 remote, we have no idea at all. That's always murky water with DJI. Forward, backward compatibility is murky, murky water with DJI. You got all of the guys right now with the Mini 3s who are asking if the Mini 3 remote works for the Mini 3 remote works with the Mavic 3, which it doesn't appear to be the case, but it might be in the future. But you got all these guys with these RC Pros asking if the remote works, and it doesn't either. It's a bloody nightmare. There's been a lot of hoo-ha as well at the Mini 3's delayed. That's actually a product I'm really tempted on. The only problem is I can't buy it if I've got to spend £900 on a set of Fat Shark goggles. We don't know. There's been no... Okay, so this is the first official leaks of the DJI Avatar. So it could be anything from 1 week to 3 months. DJI leaks normally go in a couple of different ways. So it starts off with renderings. There'll then usually be some guy on the street flying it. Then they may crash one somewhere. And then you might get a hand with long fingernails, usually pink, somewhere in China, with it in the background, and another product that we haven't seen before in the background as well. DJI, and then just before launch, either Best Buy or Argos in the UK will list it on their website. That's pretty much the order of leaks with DJI these days. In fact, the retailers are doing a better job of leaking the products than the actual leaking websites now as well. We don't know. We don't know. There's no specs. Enterprise M30 when? Oh, I'd love an M30. The DJI League flowchart. I should create the DJI League flowchart, Bruce. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Patent sites too. Yeah, but they can hold the patents back. They do have the ability to hold them back until after launch. This is the real frustration. Ooh. I wonder when Fat Shark are going to get their FCC. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on the FCCs. We know the name of the company. We need to start looking, because it's not been on Argos website since they took it down. FCC filings. They're not there yet because they haven't got it, but they will. Now, they could request to hold the FCC filings back, but I don't know if they will. If someone from Fat Shark, Red Cat, or CatX wants to send me an internal image, I'll be a happy man. I'd love to clear this up. Do you know what? I would genuinely be more than happy to talk to someone on or off the record and just put a message across in my own way if I had to. It'd be nice to get this cleared up. As I said, it's not really important now. It's just become a freaking mess. It's just become a mess, and I'm part of the problem. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. Right, guys, we're going to call it quits. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking to you tonight. I want to thank everyone who has given donations. You guys, you people, you are amazing. I don't deserve it, but I massively appreciate it. To everyone who's here in the live stream who's never been here before, welcome. If you found it interesting, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. To everyone who's joined on Patreon tonight, because my phone has been going nuts over there, I don't know who that is or what that's all about. Please do let me know. Whether I'm probably widely hated after this one, but I really appreciate it. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. I will be back same time, same place next week. I will speak to you guys again soon. Now I got to try and find the button. You can never end a live stream well, can you? You need a button just to turn it off. You can never end a live stream properly. It's always all over the place. It always is. Every single... Where are we? I got 3 monitors. Where's the mouse? Right, 1. This is how professional I am. Look, 1, 2. Okay. I found the button. Press it once. Okay, I'm going to press it again. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. And I'll speak to you guys soon.